Non-unique characters have always had a hit or miss relationship with Destiny. If their points are right for a big little or a 3-wide, then they can bring a color and a die, or maybe two. But with a few exceptions, they've never really seen all that much play on their own. But when we look at the Sith Acolyte with a built-in redeploy, actually just bringing redeploy to the table, well, no, that's kind of interesting. A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. Hey there, Star Wars Destiny folks. Welcome back to Dice Commando and the Commando cast, and happy Destiny Saturday. That's right, we're a day late because I had the huge spoiler reveal for Flesh and Blood's upcoming set yesterday. So thank you for your patience, and yes, happy Destiny weekend. So today I want to talk about the Sith Acolyte. This is something that stood out to me in this next set as being very, see, I'm kind of got the beard thing going. We're giving it a shot again. Makes you stroke it, right? And say, oh, now that's interesting. And the Sith Acolyte, I do want to point out as we go through it, it's kind of the second life of a card that we've seen before. We actually saw it in Across the Galaxy as the Force Mystic. Now, the Force Mystic had each blue ability on this character has redeploy. So it was kind of encouraging to actually put stuff on your little dudes or dudettes, as the case may be in this case. But it was never really good. I actually played it one time with one of our Galactic, and I think it was the last Galactic Grunts tournament we had. I actually played this, and it was okay because abilities are good, but it never really got off the ground, and the character was never really good in of itself. But then if we go and we look at the Sith Acolyte, kind of revision 2, version 2, better version, and certainly it's villain and better. And so 9 health for 911, 1 gun, 2 melee, a focus, which is not irrelevant if you're playing this with perhaps a big little, right? Whether you're running him at 9, whether you're running 11, either way. That 1 focus trading his die for, I don't know, like a 4 on Vader is not too bad. A shield and a resource and a blank, like that's a pretty legitimate die. It's not super great if you're running him for, like a main character, but you're not. Now, what's interesting about this, the subtype apprentice is relevant too, I think. But before one of your other blue characters is defeated, you may move a blue ability from that character to this character. And before this character is defeated, you may move a blue ability on this character to another blue character. So not only is it redeploy, it's generic table redeploy, and you don't have to like pick one. It's not like a plot you exhaust, like it just is there. This is very, very interesting. Now, one can look at this, and again, because we were talking about grunts, let's go ahead and go there first. Galactic Grunts, obviously, if you're not familiar, is the format that I developed. We had a lot of fun with locally when we played in person, where you played only non-uniques, and they all had to be the same, right? So you would play, in this case, the 911 actually doesn't work out very well. So you'd actually, in this case, you just run 3 bare-bones Sith Acolytes with probably profitable connections or something like that to get 3-drop ability out. But you can start to see how that gets pretty crazy. So that is a deck that's worth trying. I don't think that's very good. Obviously, the die is not, again, we were talking about the die not being super great, but on a supporting character, it's okay. But if those are the only die you have out there, you're really relying on drawing your upgrades, and you're going to have that one game where you just don't get them. So I don't think that's the play. But there are no shortage of really bigs in this case to pair with. You have, Darth Vader, you have Palpatines at 19, you have the new Dooku's at 18. That's all running 4 die with a big little. Now, sure, those are mono, but you kind of want to do that with him. I mean, that's kind of the way it works because of the whole blue thing. So I think you're running mono blue, and that's why I'm really only looking at the blue bigs there. You do have, there's some other interesting stuff out there like Mother Talzin, maybe. The math there's not super great. But remember, you can run him at 9 or 11, and the ability's there. So that's fundamentally what you're paying for, is a 9 health potential meat shield. And isn't it interesting that you can throw an ability on him to start, knowing that if they blow him down, you can still get that ability over, or you throw your ability on your big guy, and then you can get it. The idea there would be that you're basically upgrading into a big ability in that, a 4-drop, maybe even a 5-drop. Well, probably not gonna be able to pull Emperor off if you're running him, I guess. That's fair, but you all get my point overall, right? There's some very interesting stuff going on with this character, and I think that there's a lot of really interesting build options. We also, by the way, right, that brings a good one, is we have Darth Maul, right? We have yellow blue Darth Maul, set in that order intentionally, right? Because he's yellow but becomes blue. So that way you have access to the blue abilities, but then you have yellow Maul. That's interesting, right? Some of these other color pair stuff, that's interesting. And then you do have the potential of a 3-wide. In this case, you're probably running, not probably, you're almost certainly running blue, probably red right now for the ability stuff. I think, I mean, yellow could work, but I think right now it's probably in villain, it's probably red, blue. Or sorry, blue, red. So I think that tracks as well. And I think the build options with this are really, really strong, right? Because you don't necessarily, you know, the easy thing in our head is like, oh, well, I'll play, you know, some 2-drop abilities, and then I'll have them on redeploy, because there are a fair number of good 2-drop abilities. But I think what you want to do, honestly, is you want to play like your 1 or 2-drop redeploy upgrades, and then have some of your bigger abilities that are like your killer abilities in the deck and kind of overwrite into those, knowing that you'll get, hopefully by the time you get them out, multiple uses of them. So I don't hate that at all. The one that I think is pretty neat is probably Emperor. What's weird about Emperor is he kind of wants supports, right? So I don't know that works. There's Darth Vader, who's very good. We saw the new Vader lightsaber in this set, which is also very good. It would be kind of cool if this guy had a discard to go along with that. Or I don't think he needs a discard. I think his die's good. I think it's right with the focus. But you understand what I'm saying, is it's synergized a little better there. But there's other options out there as well. And I'd really love to hear from you folks and kind of in the comments what you're thinking. If you've even really, you know, a lot of times we read cards like this and they just kind of fall by the wayside. And I read that, and the first thing I thought was like, oh, I remember that from back in the day. But it's way better. And it's so much way better. The fact that it's a 2-way redeploy, it's so much way better that I think this guy really needs to see some play. So if you've been playing him, let me know. If you got some cool pairs, let me know. Otherwise, let's hear the theory crafting. If nothing else, folks, have a great rest of your weekend. Again, thanks for your patience on the Destiny Friday thing. Nothing else. Go Commando.